I've gone through 3 different 4-packs. I have 2 of them right here. Ooh. So here's the deal, right? It's Friday, COVID is running rampant, everything is closed, so we are gonna hang out and review this, the BrewDog Nanny State. It is gonna be cool, we're gonna have fun, and I mean, what better way to spend a Friday than on YouTube with me? So let's go. Okay, so today we're going to be looking at the BrewDog Nanny State. Here it is in all of its glory. Comes in this nice little box, no alcohol, no compromises. Let's give it a pour and see how it goes. Oh, good. I don't actually know if you can hear the thunder, but it's just started to thunder and storm outside. So hopefully we can get through this with the power staying on. How glorious is that? Look at that. Beautiful dark amber color with a really, really nice, bold flavor profile that we are gonna get into, and I am gonna drink this while we're giving it a go. Look at it again, amazing. Okay, so I wanna kick off with something a bit different. Today, we're gonna be talking about the nutrition profile of the BrewDog first and foremost. I wanted to talk about this because it is so crazy compared to some of the other numbers. You know, we're used to seeing 60 or 70 or maybe 80 calories is kind of the norm, and that's amazing, right? But then you come to this little guy and you're looking at 22.5 calories per can. Not per 100 ml, per can. So you are gonna get 22.5 calories per can, 4.5 grams of carbohydrate in total, and then only 0.4 grams of sugar per can. So that is a really, really super low non-alcoholic beer that gives you all of the flavor that we're gonna touch on in a little bit, as well as next to no calorie penalty. So just a really great, healthy non-alc option. And for the flavor we're gonna touch on, you are just gonna be like mind blown. Okay, so the taste profile of the BrewDog non-alcoholic hoppy ale. Now for me, I found this one has an array of malts. It actually took me so long to write it up over at TripleZero.com. I'll leave the links down in the description below for you so you can check it all out. I might put it up on the screen now because there is so much going on with this beer and it's so complex that to distill it down to something simple, I mean, I drank 3 or 4 of them just writing it up. So it was my 3rd kind of 4-pack getting through it. And that is another thing I will touch on a little bit later. But for now, the taste profile of this one is, like I said, complex. There are so many malts in there. You're gonna find a beautiful dark, toasty, roasty notes, as well as some chocolate kind of bubbling through there as well. And it's just a nice kind of round malt flavor as a base, which the rest of the profile really builds upon. And building upon that base, you do have a really nice push and pull level of hop. So you've got a more fresh and clean hop profile than that is citrusy and fruity. And for me, I found that was a really nice way to complement that malty base with a nice clean and fresh body that was just easy to drink and really filled your mouth with some nice resiny notes as well. And from there, once the hop body was finished, it jumped across to a nice bold and pointed bitterness that gave you all of that lingering bitterness feel. So once the bitterness subsided, it was really nice to have the malts kind of wave back into your mouth. Okay, so looking at the body and the weight profile of this one, I found it was a little bit lighter than most non-alc beers out there. And I think a lot of that comes from the fact that you've only got 22 calories in the can like we spoke about. And in terms of anything in life, there is always going to be a trade-off. So in this instance, you cannot have the flavor profile, the weighted body, and the low calories. So one of them has to give along the way. So for me, I found the weighted profile is what gives a little bit in this beer, but there is so much flavor, there is so much going on that you are not going to miss it a whole lot, especially if you drop it into a glass and you're enjoying all that it has to give as it opens up. Okay, so trying to pinpoint who this beer is for is a nightmare. It took me, again, so long trying to write this up over at TripleZero.com, but I was just in fits trying to figure it out. And you know what? I really think it's going to suit a couple of different people. It's going to suit anyone who loves those toasty, roasty notes because they've got that big malty base that kind of underpins everything. And then it's also going to suit a pale ale drinker as well because you've got the hoppy body and that bitter, strong bitter finish at the end. So I'm going to have my cake and eat it too here and suggest that if you are a hoppy pale ale drinker or you love a toasty, roasty, maybe a stout or a brown ale, I would really recommend getting your hands on this one because it really does a great job at bringing both of those 2 profiles together and giving you a really great, unique tasting beer. So I'm going to give you 2 types of people I would recommend you go and grab it. Now, where can you find it? So if you are in Australia, I've picked this one up before in my local Liquorland, so in store connected to a supermarket. You can also find it online at Craft Zero and Brunswick Aces. And if you are in the UK, you can find it at Dry Drinker. And the US, I will also have some links for you down in the description below to be able to find it and get your glasses full of the Brewdog Nanny State non-alcoholic beer. Okay, so wrapping it up, I am a big fan of this one, and look, it does have a couple of little flavor gaps in there like we touched on. You're going to find maybe one just between the malt profile kicking into the hoppy body, and then again before the hoppy body finishes and into the bitterness. But overall, the flavor profile is so bright and bold that you are really not going to notice it unless you're being super picky and looking for it like me. So honestly, you are going to enjoy this non-alc beer. I would recommend getting it. I've gone through 3 different 4-packs. I have 2 of them right here. Ooh. And is a really great non-alc beer due to its flavor profile to get people into the space. So it is one that I also use alongside the Big Drop Pale Ale to get people into the non-alc space because they are so full of flavor. So I am going to leave a review to that Big Drop Pale Ale right here, and you should check that out as well.